the current remake of Masters of the Universe, which is coming from Travis Knight, now out in theaters. Travis Knight, who is someone I put a lot of faith in with Kubo and the Two Strings, Bumblebee, kind of revamping the Transformers franchise because that was really done to death. Thank you, Michael Bay. But we have this new Masters of the Universe film. It is 2.5 hours long. It is out in theaters right now with Nicholas, is it Galitzine? Galitzine. Camila Mendes, Idris Elba, Jared Leto, Alison Brie. It's got a really good cast. Also, Kristen Wiig is mentioned on here. Who is Kristen Wiig?
She voiced the robot in the big robot.
No shit. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. What was like a battle bot potentially?
If you would have stayed for the credits, you would have seen it.
Spoiler alert! I left this movie. It's 2.5 hours long. I probably stayed for 2 hours and I'd say 5 or 10 minutes of it. I thought that this movie was borderline unwatchable at times. And I don't think I hate this movie, but there's just a lot of what are we doing here, guys? We had so much potential, I feel like, and I had hopes that, not that this was going to be my favorite movie of 2026, just that it would be a fun summer blockbuster. And you know what? Hey, I don't know much about He-Man. Show me He-Man. If it's Nicholas Galatzine's portrayal of Adam or He-Man, I don't fucking want it. Because holy shit, is this the most obnoxiously annoying, pathetic lead character we've gotten. If people want to bitch about Luke being kind of a Sally and just whining and moping all throughout New Hope, watch this. This dude's going to make me claw my goddamn eyes out at times. He's so just wishy-washy and he's wimpy and he's like, whoa, I work in HR. Come on, guys, let's all get it. I'm like, I get that this is kind of part of a joke that you think is maybe funny. Spoiler alert, none of the jokes in this film, whether they're tailor-made for a 5-year-old or there's a fisting joke randomly, actually if there's 10 fisting jokes randomly or giving head, none of the jokes land. There's maybe one with Idris Elba that we mentioned or we talked about before recording. That does work, but overall it's just I don't know if they are aware of the identity of what they wanted this movie to be. Do they want to adhere to the mythology? Do they want to spoof it? Do they want to rip on it? Do they want to be... I don't know what they wanted to do. But I was so heavily disappointed by Travis Knight and co. for what they tried to what it felt like force feed me watching this movie. It feels like they were going for Thor Ragnarok and they landed on Thor Love and Thunder, which I do not like that movie. And I just don't think that they knew what to fucking do. Whether they can poke fun at it and still do it seriously, or they're like, this is stupid. Okay. And? Well, then why am I watching this? Why is Skeletor lifting weights at a gym? Why, honestly, if Jared Leto, which I actually enjoyed decently enough as Skeletor, for me, he is far and away the best part of this movie. I don't hate on Jared Leto overly. I think I like Jared Leto in most things. Dallas Buyers Club, Blade Runner 2049, Tron Ares, obviously not Morbius, but if Jared Leto is the best part of your movie, that's a red flag. That's a bad sign if the best part is Jared Leto. So... Corey, what were your thoughts, brief thoughts on Masters of the Universe?
Yeah, I just saw it this morning, and this was after you had texted me and said, I left for the last 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, and you knew exactly what scene. I left at, too. I told him that, and I came over today, and he was just like, you left during, the gym? And I was like, yes, I left then. I didn't need to stay any longer.
Yeah, once you see Jared Leto as Skeletor, he goes into He-Man's mind or whatever. Yeah. And he's just in the gym lifting weights, wearing Nike stuff, which, Travis Knight's the son of Phil Knight, who co-founded Nike. So, sure, whatever. But,
yeah.
I'm going to just throw a couple of good things, and then I'm going to rant on this movie a little bit.
Cool.
I thought the score was great. Daniel Pemberton's score, I thought was fantastic. I thought it really... And again, we're not too familiar with the animated show or anything, so I don't know if it pulls from, any of the themes from there or not, but I just thought the music fit really well with a fantasy, sci-fi type movie. And also... during the credits, too, it showed that Brian May from Queen did a lot of the electric guitar music, which is really cool, and that plays into why the score is so good. So I thought that the music, for me, honestly, was probably the best part. I thought that some of the, you mentioned, it's fun to be on Eternia more compared to the 87 version. I like the 87 version a lot more than this movie.
100%.
But it's fun to explore Snake Mountain and go to all these different places and a lot more creatures, and you can realize some of the VFX a lot more. So some of the action and the creatures and that stuff, it's fun.
Yeah.
To Skeletor, I want to start there because I think Jared Leto's fine in the movie. I think the voice he is doing works.
I think it works too.
I know a lot of people will compare it to Bane from Dark Knight Rises and kind of the muffled whatever voice.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fine. I didn't mind it at all. I thought the look of him was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that I like that we have both Frank Langella's in the 80s of like a practical thing, but then even like a good CGI version of Skeletor now. I think it looks pretty sweet. But my main issue with Skeletor is that it feels like they're trying to do like 3 separate things with him, where sometimes they want to make him the intimidating villain like Frank Langella, and I'm assuming what was in the animated show. Sometimes they want to make him like the mustache twirling, kind of doing some quips. Yeah, doing that. And then other times, he's just a complete fucking idiot, and his henchmen don't respect him at all.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 scenes where he's giving his big speech and making a big proclamation, and then nobody responds, and he's like, "You guys can go now. You can do your thing." And they're like, "Oh, are you?
You're done?
And it's just like, no. Well, if they don't respect you, why would I think you're a good fucking villain then?" And I don't know. That didn't work for me. He's got a lot of weird fucking jokes in this movie that didn't work for me at all. A lot of weird sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, "Your big sword swinging between your legs."
Your thighs! I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
What is this? And like, even in the end, I guess into spoilers, whatever.
Yeah.
Like in the end, when He-Man for the second time does the look, "I have the power," Skeletor's like, "Oh, balls!" Like right after that happens, I'm like, what? Why are we doing this? And that leads into my other big issue with the movie, which is the humor is just it completely undermines any serious moments in this movie. Yeah. You make the good comparison, and I thought it too, of Ragnarok to Love and Thunder, where I think Ragnarok, the comedy, works consistently in that movie, but also lets the dramatic moments sit. You know, when Odin dies, and like when, just a lot of other great stuff in that movie. This one, there's serious moments, and they're just like, all right, joke. Yeah. And it's not just like a couple characters. Every character's quipping. Yeah. Every character's joking in this movie. And it compromised all those moments. It was just unfunny. There's like 2 moments that I laughed at in this movie. Everything else was so cliche. The dialogue was just generic ass bullshit that I kind of fucking hated. The last kind of big thing that I had with this is the main character, and you touched on it for a little bit, but Adam, or He-Man, the kind of main theme that they're going for here is like, it's okay to not be super masculine, and it's not about the muscles, and it's more about who's on the inside. Like, it's a fine theme. Like, we've seen that before in movies, and it works. This one, they pound you over the fucking head with it. One, because on Earth, Adam is like a HR person.
Yeah, he works in HR.
And they talk about having people's consent and being okay.
Conflict resolution.
And just having a dialogue with people and doing all this fucking woke bullshit that I fucking hated.
All of the work stuff related to Adam's existence on Earth and his boss, I'm like, I can so clearly see your attempts at almost like a modern day Office Space. Fucking knock it off.
Stop.
None of the performers in this film I thought were necessarily bad. I think it just comes 100% down to writing and direction, where I'm like, I feel like this would work in something else, but for what this needs to lead into, I don't like. It feels like they don't know what they're trying to make at times. And like there are some line delivery of his boss where I'm like, that works, but like it doesn't feel like it jives with the rest of this movie. Like it doesn't feel like it fits in. And then you get. I want action in this movie, and we get some good action, but like when he gets to that like big powwow with his team, they're all locked up in a dungeon, and he's like, "Hey, like you guys are basically who I remember from my childhood before I was basically ostracized to Earth. Like you are what I remember. Like I refer to you as Fisto, and I refer to you as Mechaneck, and like weird, stupid, shitty fucking names. But every time, and you brought this up to me before we started recording, they have to make a joke on it. Like, why can't they just be called Fisto? Why couldn't it just be I'm Mechaneck? Like, why does it have to be like, oh, I fist people, oh. Like, right. And that joke is made 10 times, and it's never funny. Like, there's no originality to it. And similar to what you were saying about the comedy, it's every character is funny. It's like, can we stop doing the Marvel thing? Like, it's funny when there is a funny character that accents a movie. Like, you can have the story progress, and then there's one character that you can count on for a laugh. If everyone is consistently blowing smoke and just undercutting every single serious decision or serious moment in a movie, it's like, well, no one's serious, so why should I fucking care? I will say, I forget what the big tiger... Grinder?
It's Cringer, but Battle Cat.
Battle Cat.
Yeah.
I think that there's some effects that work. There's some that really don't, and I think some of the effects with with Battle Cat didn't really hold up for me. I think Idris Elba's story of Man-at-Arms being somewhat of like a absent father, alcoholic, really pseudo-masculine man who's really out of touch with the times and is failing his daughter. I was just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Like, it's almost something, but also it's still underdeveloped to where I'm like, there's almost no reason why this should be a plot point, really. Like, he's like, like... And I completely saw that first initial joke coming when he gets reintroduced to the story where he's the one body laying in the bottom of that dungeon floor and he's like laying in his own piss because he's drunk, and it's just like, saw that coming. Like, none of this feels original, none of this feels well thought out. I don't feel like they're like seriously trying to like wink wink nod nod and make a good story with this mythology. It just feels like, this is stupid. Yeah. Okay, it's like, what are we doing here? So it was a insufferable watch at times. I think my biggest positives is sometimes the action is helmed really well. Like, sometimes the battle sequences are pretty well done in camera, and there's good like movement and like fluidity to the camera movements. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I thought that the transition into He-Man the first time, and he's just stark ass butt ass naked, but there's like some shadowing on his loin, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, whoa, what the fuck am I watching? So, like, granted, I'm not the biggest He-Man person. I don't know a lot about this mythos, so watching this, I could really be, like, harping on something that people are like, oh, no, I'm a fan of He-Man, and that's just how it is. I'm like, cool, sure, but, like, as a person that's just going to this movie, because I don't think that the people behind this movie are really like, oh, all the He-Man fans are going to come out, and we're going to make $8 billion. No, I think that they're like, yeah, we'll get most of the He-Man people to come see this, and that will make us an opening weekend, and then what? We need legs, and if you're not going to win someone who's new to your kind of mythos, your mythology, anything, why the fuck am I here? Like, it felt like Inside Baseball, but they couldn't commit to the game they were playing. I was like, what are you doing?
One of my least favorite things that people say in movie criticism is, oh, it's made for the fans. It's made for the fans, and so if you're not a fan of the animated thing, this isn't for you. Like, you're not going to like it.
I don't know any He-Man fans, so I don't know how to fact check that. Like, who am I going to call up and be like, did you like this? Like,
just like, even with any franchise, if you're just like, I'm coming into it kind of new, I haven't watched the show that it's based on, or the books that it's based on, you're like, oh, you're not a true fan. I hate that. But
it's a failsafe, yeah.
This movie feels like, at sometimes, it's trying to lean into the silliness and goofiness, which is when it succeeds, which I think, like, the opening sequence of the movie is pretty fun, of, like, on Eternia, and, like, Skeletor comes in and is taken over. Like, Man-at-Arms, he has some cool action there. I'm like, oh, you're a badass. And then they just make him the fucking drunk for the other 2/3 of the movie. But sometimes they lean into it, but then other times they're trying to distance themselves from it and, like, do their own thing. You mentioned, like, the names, where they're like, well, no, like, we can't just have them be the names of the characters. We have to explain why, or, like, make jokes about it. I'm like, why? Just don't lean into it. Just have fucking fun with it.
And they almost, like, I wanted this to be, like, 80s schlock. And knowing that, Brian May was going to be on the music with this and helping and contributing to some of the guitar play, I'm like, oh, okay, like, they get it. And I feel like in more of those recent trailers that we got more of the taste of the music, I was like, oh, this soundtrack does sound good. I feel like they know what they're doing. And there's that one shot where they break out of the dungeon and they're walking in slow-mo. And the music's swelling, and I was like, I think this is what I want. Like, I want the cheesy 80s shit. I want you to do that, and I think that would service this better. And then they immediately undercut it with the Marvel, like, coughing in the smoke, like, in slow-mo. So dumb. And I was like, fucking don't. You almost had me. You almost had it. Like, I had faith in what you were doing. You were going to give me something that I thought would be way better than just like, oh, hey, wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm going to wear a loincloth, and Skeletor's going to comment on my sword between my knees. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, it was so perplexing, because... Granted, I had not high expectations. I think I had the best mindset going into where I'm like, I just want a fun summer movie, and it just pissed me off at every turn. So I'm realizing that I actually really did hate this movie. I did walk out. It is way too long. It's 2.5 hours for this. Fucking for all that. After all that, like 2.5 hours. Little cat fucking reference. Come on, Nix, let's go.
Yeah, up to nice.
But. Just 2.5 hours of this, and then you're going to meet me with Skeletor in a fucking gym. Yeah, I don't need to be here anymore. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I left. And I stand by it. I don't think I missed out on what came after it.
I think, I think a reason why I prefer the 87 version, and not to be like, I don't want as much, like, character depth and all this stuff. Like, that's not what I'm going to say here, but, like...
It is fucking He-Man.
The 87 version's like, hey, it's He-Man. He's a big hulking figure. He has a sword.
run with it.
He fucking kills people. He does this. In this one, Adam's like, I want to have a dialogue with Skeletor. Can't we just talk with him? Like, wait, do I have your consent to do this? Can we do... I'm just like, we need to fucking stop. We need to fucking stop with this. I hate this. It went from me being like, is this a good character arc in the first part? Where I'm like, okay, let me see what they do with it, to being like, no, He-Man's a pussy. Actually, no. He didn't even fucking say He-Man until the last scene of the movie, like Four Stick, when they're like, Fantastic Four. No, they just fucking say, what's your name? What's your name? I don't know. As a kid, like, I called myself He-Man. Credits start rolling pretty much immediately after. I'm just like, so whatever, fucking Adam. I was just like, you can't even call him He-Man. Another part of like trying to distance yourself, just call him fucking He-Man. Just make him He-Man. Don't try and do this like, it's Adam in his pink shirt. I don't want to see him in a pink shirt. I want to see him in the fucking He-Man stuff.
Oh my god, that too.
When he switched and then goes back, and I'm like, no!
No, but when you can tell in his portrayal and his costuming that they're trying to make him not look as buff as he actually is.
Dude's jacked. Like,
he's
you can
shredded. Yeah. And he's big. He's filling out any shirt he's wearing. And then they try to have like a big transition scene when he says, by the power, and he transitions.
Cool thing.
Cool, but it feels like they're trying to make him look bigger now. As if we didn't already know that this actor is massive. Like, we know he's big. He's just sauntering. He has no self-confidence, which, fine, if you want to make that an aspect to his character. But that is the only aspect of his character, is that he is a bumbling idiot with no self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And then the power of whatever. I still don't
Power of
Grayskull! It's a hard thing to say, seriously. But it just, you do that, and then he turns into He-Man, and now he's mad. Like, they try to, like, make the muscles look like they get bigger. It's like, no, I know that this guy has been shredded this entire movie. Which they don't really, like... Oh, we didn't even bring up... We are in spoilers. Dolph Lundgren's in this movie.
Oh, yeah, he makes a cameo.
He makes a cameo. I am torn on if I hate it or not. He pops up, and when I was watching it, I'm like, I think I hate this. But I don't mind the dialogue he has with him of, like, just take it and do what you want with it, or move it forward, or whatever his little exchange. But I was like, oh, it's a nice little handing of the torch, I guess. I didn't need that. I don't think anyone's really, like, clamoring for Dolph Lundgren in this. It
kind of falls into, like, the every Legacy sequel where it's like, any tips for the new guy?
Yeah.
I'm like...
And it felt... I'm like...
I love Dolph, but, like,
would you be asking someone that in the gym?
Random dude lifting weights, like, hey, you're in my space. It's like, any tips for the new guy here? I'm like, can you just shut the fuck... I love seeing Dolph Lundgren, but... Yeah. No, I really kind of actually hated the character of Adam. And again, not to be like, I don't want depth with a character, but like, with He-Man and Masters of the Universe, I kind of just want him with a sword killing people and not being like, I don't know if we should be celebrating a victory where I ripped a guy's arms off. It's like, no, just fucking kill him. Yeah. I don't care. And you... talking about your emotion, this is gonna be bad. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. You being like, I need to talk about my emotions and maybe being masculine. Okay, shut the fuck up. Be a man. Kill people. You're a fucking pussy, and I hated you. You made me fucking hate you. And be a hero. The hero can be a hero and not joke around. The villain can be a villain and not joke around. Yeah. It's fine.
I feel like if they weren't trying so hard to somewhat establish that 80s aesthetic with the look, the vibrancy, the music, even. To then completely subvert it and just be so present day, so current, so woke at times, and so just in your face of like, well, he works in human resources, so he's how would a guy in human resources operate as a big savior of an entire universe? I'm like, not like this. Like, if that's the character arc you want for this guy, give me a different hero, because I'm not rooting for him. He's bumbling, he's annoying, he's obnoxious, he's not confident in anything that he does, which, like, if he wants to gain confidence over throughout the movie, sure, but kind of fails to even really do that at times. So I'm like, what are we doing? And it just, at that point, and like, Alison Brie as, Evil Lynn? Oh, that's an interesting casting. She does nothing in the movie. There's just a lot of kind of wasted potential in some of the other actors filling out the cast. I think Idris Elba was, like, fine in this. Like, he doesn't do much. I think this is like a Jared Leto show at times when he is Skeletor, and sometimes the humor, it didn't necessarily work for me, but I'm like, I get what you're going for, and my exposure to, like, the meme of He-Man and the meme of Skeletor, I'm like, this coincides with that, but is that what He-Man is, and is that what we should be doing for a Masters of the Universe movie? Maybe not. Like, it felt like they were trying to play to current kind of representation of He-Man, and like, oh, how does the outside in, how does that person view He-Man? Yeah. Like, what is a new person coming to this look at He-Man to be. And I'm like, I feel like you guys are dropping the ball on that, and as well as, granted, I'm not a fan of this mythology, I feel like you're dropping the ball there too. Like, I don't know anyone, I haven't talked to anyone personally that has came out of this movie and liked it. And the Rotten Tomato score is like in the 70s. I went in just like, hey, I want to like it. And I didn't. I left early. That's my one of 2026. So maybe I'll do it. Maybe, I don't know. I hope to God there's not another fucking movie I'll walk out of.
Let's hope. They should have just picked a lane with how they wanted to approach this mythology, how they wanted to approach the characters. Like, if they would have just picked a lane with Skeletor and been like, all right, he is going to be a jokey one that his underlings don't respect. I'm like, fine, I'm cool with that. That's not my issue with it. It's that then sometimes he is really intimidating. I'm like, oh, I see what the possibility of him being like a great villain is. So it just, they feel like they were kind of wishy-washy on what they wanted to do here. And it was really annoying because it's like, you had a couple elements and like, yeah, all the casting's not bad, I don't think. I think it really is just the screenplay here. It's like 7 people that wrote this movie. So it's like, you can tell.
This movie needed to be Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
That newer Chris Pine movie with what I think the team behind Game Night and Spider-Man Homecoming, like that writing duo, I needed that type of vibe to this and that type of energy. Whereas like it felt like they tried to maybe do that, but it was just so bumbling and all over the place. We're spending too much time on this one, but yeah, Masters of the Universe for Corey and I, kind of a wah, like not great. Feels like Pac-Man's dying right now. Not a great movie. I wouldn't recommend it. I walked out of it, obviously. So honestly, go back and you might think you're going to hate it. Maybe just watch the 87 version. You might like it. It's kind of its era. And I wish that the current Masters of the Universe would have taken notes from that. And just like, you know what? Let's dive into it. Let's commit more to the costuming, but let's do something what the 80s movie did of committing to the costuming, commit to Eternia, give us more of a sprawling adventure as opposed to just a bumbling idiot that discovers he has powers and fights a sarcastic skeleton.
It could have just been, and like I hate to say it, but like even if it was just kind of a generic story, but they stuck to just like the classic tropes of the hero and the villain, but just updated it with some good visual effects where we can spend more time on Eternia, I would have enjoyed that more as just a summer blockbuster instead of what they did here. It was such a weird choice. I unfortunately did stay for all of it, and there's 3 post-credit scenes. One of them is like right after the director card comes up, and it's like Orko, this little fucking wizard thing that was going to be in the 87 version, but they replaced with Gwildor because Orko was too hard to animate, or like he's floating all the time. Another one, it teases She-Ra, which is the sister of He-Man. And I get in the animated show and stuff. So they kind of tease her in one, and then the last one is kind of a throwback to the post-credit scene in the original Masters of the Universe, where Skeletor comes out of the thing and he's like, "I'll be here for the next one." No, next one.
But I wonder how this movie is tracking financially. At the box office.
I don't think it's very good.
I think like a $30 million opening domestic. Maybe?
Not for the budget that it was made on.
Oh God, no.
Not great. So yeah, the last post-credit scene here is just like Evelyn coming up and grabbing the skull and being, yeah, I can do something with this. Which, like, I thought Alison Brie was fine. I thought she was, like, having fun. And kind of, it felt like people were in different movies here. Where she was like, I'm gonna, like, embrace the cartoony goofiness. I'm like, I wish you would have done that a bit more. And just embrace that overall.
Yeah. I feel like, to compare, like, Teela and that performance to Evelyn, they're different types of He-Man stories. Like, one feels Teela is a very serious character in this movie. And then Evelyn is just, like, smirking and, like, almost laughing at the movie and is in on the joke as opposed to, like, being an actual character in the movie at times. So I'm like, what did they want to do here? Again, we're just going to talk in circles about how they kind of flubbed this, at least we think. So if you disagree, cool. All film is subjective. If you think The Last Jedi is not that great of a Star Wars movie, which we're finding out from our Star Wars rankings, which we knew.
What? Crazy.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be a polarizing thing and we were going to catch heat for that, which fine, whatever. But I'm actually seriously interested to see pushback on this Masters of the Universe film and if people actually did like it, because even reviewers that I like that have had positive notes on the film, they're not like endorsing this movie or really liking this movie much. So I'm like, it does. Who really liked it? And every review is like a 3 out of 5. It's like it's fine. But I don't think I've met anyone or heard of anyone that was like, yeah, this is my shit.
I just don't know that there's a big demand for this movie. Like, it's like we said, like, we're not like we didn't really grow up watching the animated show and didn't grow up watching the movie until this week, obviously, the 87 one. So,
which is wild. I never would have thought that post this week I was going to be really excited about potentially buying a 4K of the 80s Masters of the Universe. Or I think Johns was talking about that he has a copy of that on VHS.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of fucking nutty. I like that.
That's sweet.
So I'm not going to buy the newest one. I might buy the 80s one.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Even though I didn't love the new one, it was fun to dig into this universe and just do some research, especially on that 87 movie, especially with Canon Film Groups and just all their history of low-budget movies. Yeah. It was fun and just kind of like to have another franchise be like, all right, now I know a little bit about this one, and to like have two movies in my pocket and do that. So that's we have that, I suppose. I doubt that this movie will have a sequel. I just don't know that there's a lot of love for it. Maybe there is, and people are gonna be like, you just don't know how to have fun, which I also hate that argument about movie critics saying you don't know how to have fun. Shut the fuck up.
I went in, I think, with the best mindset for this movie.
Yeah,
and I was pissed.
Yeah, we were both like, I think even in our like summer preview thing, we were just like, oh, like we hope it's fun. Like it's hopefully it's a good time. Like we'll see.